In this video, we continue our tour of the designer interface with the Webflow tutorial. After creating your first container in the last video, we're going to make it graphically prettier. So we're going to style it with what's called CSS. There's HTML and CSS. HTML lets you create web components, and CSS lets you make them more graphically appealing. Let's click on the header on level 1. On the right-hand side of your screen, CSS parameters have appeared. They allow you to change graphic details such as font, color, etc. Following the tutorial, we change the size from 60 to 80 pixels. This enlarges the header. After changing the size, the tutorial shows how classes work. In the example given, there are 3 buttons, all the same color, all dependent on the same class. A class brings together several elements with the same graphic properties. When you want to modify a button, the same button present on every page of your site, you simply modify the class. This will modify the graphics of all buttons throughout your site. Click on the button. On the right, you'll see what's known as a selector. The selector contains a class called primary button. You can click on Next, and this will display a left and right padding of 20. This is the space between the text and the button border. Here it's at 20 pixels, and the tutorial advises us to change it to 36. Click on it, and let's change it to 36. Let's do the same on the right. This enlarges all the yellow buttons, even if only one has been modified, because they're all linked to the same class we've just modified. Next, let's return to the button at the top, which we created in the previous video. This one is still blue and hasn't been changed. This button has not been linked to the same class as the yellow buttons, so we're going to assign it the same class to get the same graphics. Just click on it. In the properties on the right, you'll see the selector. We can see that this button hasn't been assigned a class. Click on it to search for the class name. In this case, primary button, select it. You'll instantly see the button's design modified to match the other buttons. Here's the basis for CSS visuals in Webflow. In the next lesson, we'll look at responsive design.